Damian, the 599 on Bring a Trailer, the price ranges are from like 100. They bid up to 110,000, and I've seen one recently sell for 130,000 with 21,000 miles, and it looked clean. It seems like such a super beast of a car featuring an Enzo engine. Are they under the radar? What's going on? Do you think that that's the next car to jump?
I mean, you never know that, but to answer your question, yeah, I think they're under the radar. Are they badass? Yes, they are.
You gave me a ride one time, and it was fast as hell. It was a monster. The shifting, the F1, what was it like?
So it is a single disc F1 dry clutch. That being said, super well done, super fast. The shifts are great, excellent. They've done well. Ferrari's done well with their V12 F1 engineering, and that car is no exception. It is just fantastic. I love the car. I love the 599.
Now, single clutch and the F12 was a dual clutch?
Yes, F12 is a dual clutch.
So 599 brings something different to the table.
Yeah. So, I mean, you could say the F12 is more refined. It's definitely quicker shifts. I mean, you know, at the lightning level because of the whole dual clutch situation like we talked about before. So
Sure,
it just,
yeah.
it shifts so fast because one is always engaged and, you know, each gear is always engaged while the other one releases. So it just has it's going to be faster. However, I think you get a harder punch from a single disc clutch. So it does give you a pretty good kick, but it's pretty refined. They're great. I mean, I love them.
They're fast. They're over 600 horsepower, no?
Yeah, it's over 600 horsepower. The problem with that car, or if you want to call it that, like anything at that power range, it's two-wheel drive, and you really have to have good tires if you want to get that acceleration, if you want to feel it. So definitely, like, it's all about hooking up from like 0 to 60 or that off the line.
Is it squirrely?
It's going to get squirrely. It's not that it gets too squirrely. The traction control really keeps you in check, and it's pretty nice. However, sometimes you'll feel like the car doesn't have power. You'll be like, oh, it didn't accelerate as fast as I thought. And it's just either tires were cold, tires aren't that great, or the ground, it just wasn't hooking up. And so sometimes you'll feel like the car's lacking power, but it's not. It's just traction control saving your life, and you just don't know it.
Got it.
So that you know, that would be, if you want to call it a drawback, I mean, it's just part of the deal. It is so much power for a two-wheel drive car, for a front-engine two-wheel drive car, that it's really like, I mean, I wouldn't drift it, but I would call it an Italian drift car. That's how it's like sort of set up.
Right. Which makes sense because the Aventador has all-wheel drive, and that's probably why the launch feels quicker.
Oh, yeah.
But we are in Aventador territory, sort of, almost.
I mean, definitely not price range, but power-wise, yes, we're right there. And it is, I would say, once you get to like 80 to 100 miles an hour and above, you're really going to feel the power pull you through. I mean, it's just a tremendous car. And it's just...
great tone, too.
It's an amazing tone. It's got, I mean, it has some really cool features that you may not notice when you just look at the car. Like the rear pillars are actually have, you know, they're have holes in them. Right. So like right by those rear windows. So it's like this cool aerodynamic feature, and it's something that you see in person and go, oh, okay. I think it is a gentleman's car. It's got a real James Bond feel to it. I think they're animal. They're beastly. That engine is just a screaming animal.
Some people think it's ugly. It's definitely seems to be a hit or miss or hate or love design. I'm not sure why. I think it looks awesome.
I think it looks awesome. I mean, you can, of course, you can look at it any way you want. I do think the F12 really hits every nail on the head as far as looks goes. I feel like it has a super aggressive front end. It's got a beautiful look to the whole car. I think the 599 is right there. It depends on your stance. It depends on the wheels. So like, it does need to be lowered from the factory to give it the right look. It could have a tail or a lip to like sort of complete the look. I mean, that's my opinion, to just like really give it more of like a wow factor. So it is a little more subdued. It's a little more of a gentleman's car, whereas like of that era, like a 430 or a 458 is going to look more flashy, more race car.
Right.
But it'll fool you because this is the monster. This is a monster in a suit. that will tear your head off.
Now F12's around the 200 range, maybe 210. I mean, they got soft for a minute, 2019, then they're back up. So it's a monster Ferrari. So they're holding their value. Do you think a 599, a clean 599 around 130 is better than a F12 around 210?
It's just a different thing. That's such a good question. I feel like if you have 200 grand to spend on the car, sure, go F12.
Right.
Although the 599 has a couple things that the F12 doesn't, which is you can convert it to a manual,
which is pretty awesome and exciting.
I haven't driven a manual 599 yet. I've seen a couple original cars back in the day. I know that there's a bunch of conversions now. I'd love to drive one and really see what it is. I've heard that first gear is kind of short for how much power the car has. So that would be interesting to drive and see. However, they're just wonderful cars, man.
I think there's only, not to cut you off, but I think there's like around 30 manual 599s and they're 850 grand. So
sounds right.
So kind of cool that you bring up a good point that a 599 can give you almost two lives in two cars. You can be the F1 599 guy for a while and live with that.
Which is great.
Yeah. And then now you're dealing with the manual. You do the manual conversion now, whole different car.
Then it's a whole different car. And then I would assume, now I haven't driven it, but I mean, for me, I'm such a manual guy that would push me over the edge over an F12, right?
I think you're right.
I mean, then it's something else. I do think that it depends on what you're looking for, because what's always held back, I think, the Ferrari V12s is it just hasn't had quite the flashy look that the V8s have or the mid-engine cars have had. So I get that. And I think they really stepped that up with the F12 and then the A12. They really pushed their design cues forward. With that being said, you can, with the right wheels or the right setup, I think the car could be pretty wild looking. And for me, it has all the power you'll ever need. You don't need more power than that. And really any car and any two-wheel drive car, that's for sure. So it really completes it. And it's such a easy drive. It's so pleasurable. It's a car that you would put some miles on. It's a car you could go somewhere in. Where, if you want to compare it to an Aventador, where, yes, the Aventador is, it's a whole situation when you arrive, but at the same time, that makes you not drive it as much. Yeah. This is a car that you'll go places. You can go out to dinner. You can move around, and only those that are in the know really know.
You could go a little stealth. It's black.
Yeah, black car, you can definitely fly under the radar.
Right.
I think.
And what about reliability?
Man, I mean, they do have their issues.
Give me a few. Let's get real here. So 130 grand, but
a few things is that it has the same plastic fuel pumps, like the 430s and the 360s have. So those go bad after a while and they crack on the top. So you got to replace those every 10, 12 years, whatever it's going to be. There is no timing belts to change, so that's great. There is the clutch that you will have to replace. I've seen them go quite far though on a clutch.
Like when you say far, 30,000 miles?
30, 40,000 miles, pretty impressive.
Wow.
Pretty impressive. I mean, of course, if you're driving the car correctly and not trying to...
If you're launching all the time...
all bets are off.
All cars will have a short life.
Yeah, and it's another car, too. You can take the traction control off, and I'm sure you've seen YouTubers. You can get that car drifting in a second. That car will murder you in half a second. You have to understand, what you're getting, what you're doing with that thing.
Don't shut it off.
Yeah, I'm not man enough to do that yet. Or
Murcielagos force you to shut it off because it's so ridiculous. It comes on the slightest little
that one's dangerous.
Acceleration. It's dangerous because it forces you to shut it off. But at least you have all-wheel drive, so you're not going to die. But the 599, you just don't shut it off.
That back end's going to come out at you.
Yeah, so don't shut it off.
So quick. The 550, the back end will rip out on you. So at this power point,
don't do it.
Do it at your own risk. You better know what you're doing.
Yeah.
Before you become one of those guys on YouTube that wah, wah.
Yeah, right.
It's fantastic, man. The engine sounds great. It's been, I haven't seen too many engine issues over the years. I mean,
if you have, what engine issues?
I haven't seen any. I haven't had to do anything yet.
I mean, 599s that have been out for a long time. You've serviced plenty. You are in LA, and if 599 is going to need fixing, The chance of you getting the call is very high. So that's impressive when you say you haven't.
I mean, I haven't replaced an engine. I haven't done a head job yet. I haven't, I'm not saying it won't happen. It's probably at the age where things are going to start happening, but it's pretty well sorted out. The things that do happen on the car is the interior. That is 100%. You will probably replace most of the leather or have to re-glue most of the leather in there.
Okay.
It all comes apart.
Okay.
The
sticky buttons, of course.
The sticky buttons, of course. The dashboard will shrink.
Shame on them for the sticky button, by the way. Like, really? They're never going to improve that?
I don't know, man. I don't know what
finally?
mafia deal is going on with those. They call it soft touch.
Yes.
And as far as I can tell, almost all European cars have it. If you see some part of plastic, even on Audis and BMWs, like it's going to get sticky after 10 or 12 years.
Sure.
I don't know, but those cars are pretty notoriously bad. I've done a lot of interior work on 599s and well taken care of cars that have been in garages. Like,
wow.
It's not headliners come out. It's
right. And good point. That's not usually a car that is kept outside.
Yeah. It's not a car that's been abused, and yet
double shame on them that the interior falls apart.
So that's kind of a drag. I mean, that kind of sucks, but I would call that small potatoes in the scheme of things.
Cosmetics.
Yeah. I mean, the Diablos, all the early Diablos had shrinking dashes.
Right.
I must have done, 50 of them, 60. I can't even tell you. I've done so many. So I guess it could be part of the deal, but just something that's what I see consistently on those cars. Other than that, man, they're
brakes,
fuel
pump,
brakes,
steering racks, water pumps. No endemic like this happens.
Not that I have seen yet.
That's exciting.
I mean, the car does take a thicker oil and additives. Like it's different than the regular V8. So you gotta.
Good point. I'm bringing that up because I'm not sure if everybody knows that.
I don't think everybody does know that.
On the Enzo, you don't need the additive, but on the 599, you do need an additive. Something like that.
I don't know for sure, but I know that requires their special additive, which is basically the Castrol equivalent of SDP. It just thickens up the oil, and they want a 1060 in there. They want the thicker oil in there, and which I like. I love 1060 and for the climate here in California.
Yeah.
They say you can do that in the V8s too. They say for the high temperature climates. So
I think my Aston's 1060 or something.
That wouldn't surprise me. I mean, I get it. High revving V12 and
it's innate, but don't quote me.
Right. I don't know.
It is a unusual oil. It's a little hard to get.
Yeah, I mean, most cars are using 540 these days, and that seems like such a thin oil, especially for a high performance, high compression engine in like 100-degree heat. Seems crazy to me.
The additive is a Ferrari branded additive?
I think it's Castrol.
Okay.
Or Shell. Sorry, it could be a Shell additive because that's their sponsor.
Mostly, and most of them came with ceramic brakes.
I'm trying to think if any of them came with steel brakes.
Most that you see are ceramic?
Most I see are ceramic. Fantastic brakes. It's a fantastic car, man.
Doing the front brake pad job, what would that cost?
It could easily be around $2,000-3,000.
Okay.
So
that's ceramic brakes. That's fine.
It's ceramics, which I don't do often at all.
Right.
Most people do not track this car and do what it takes to wear those brakes out.
So it's a reliable car.
It's pretty solid, man. I love the 599. I really do. I wish they had more iterations with the body kits because I feel like they could have done a few things to just make it more aggressive.
GTO looks
pretty cool.
Spectacular.
Yes, and it depends on the wheel package too. The
GTOs are 800, 850. They've gone up, and
that's interesting. I didn't know that.
Are they that much radically different of a car?
I remember driving one, and no, I mean, again, I wasn't on a track,
right?
Whereas probably where you would see the difference in that car, but I couldn't tell a huge difference where you'd be like, oh, you need to have the. I wouldn't. It's not $500,000 more.
Right.
For sure.
Or 7 or 6 or right.
Yeah. It's not any 599 is going to whoop some ass out there and can kill you as fast as you need.
I love hearing that.
It's they're great GT cars. They're great Grand Tours. They're really nice on the freeway. You can dial in your suspension and it really makes a difference. And
It's amazing because 130 grand for a clean, beautiful 599 with 21,000
I
miles.
feel
And
like
you're telling me
that's
this,
a matter of time for that.
like any conversation about a $120,000 Rolls Royce or Bentley would be ungodly expensive to fix, maintenance, horror stories. I mean, your neighbor is telling me he's pulling out the engine of Bentleys
For starter.
or to get to the plastic water lines in the back at 10,000 miles. I mean, I just hear horror stories after horror stories.
But
The reality is
and you
like,
see that. You see how Bentleys just dive off the face of the earth.
yeah.
It's just the cheapest you could.
And it's like, it's a forever car, but not. So you throw them away, but then it's too expensive to fix. And, you know,
It's
like,
almost there as a forever car. They are certainly,
Like,
without getting too far off the subject, they are quite luxurious. It is a front engine monster.
Right.
It's got all the power, but it's
not 599. It's not forever.
it's for me a Bentley. It's in that S-Class Mercedes thing where it's like, oh, it's great to show up at dinner, show up at a nice party, and be like, look at, it is luxurious. It does say something. However,
Totally different car than a 599.
So
but just the
completely
point of
different
bringing
car.
that up of just 130 grand and what you hear of, 8 Series BMWs and on and on and on. Even AMGs are fairly reliable, but when they have the issues,
they are and they aren't.
Ungodly experience. Yeah, ungodly expensive.
You might as well have a Ferrari at that point. And
Well, yeah, that's what it sounds like. It sounds like we're either totally, completely delusional and insane, saying 599 is a highly reliable, great bang for buck, 130 grand.
it's not a Honda Accord. Okay, let's say it that way. However,
But maybe
it is a forever car, and a forever car that has that much power, that can give you that kind of emotional experience, and be in this price range.
You'll always be
You
excited.
couldn't buy a brand new Porsche
No.
for 130 grand. You good luck.
I think the new 911s start at 130 or something.
I think so.
Yeah, I think you're absolutely right.
And so, where are you going to go with that? You could buy a Range Rover or 599. You could buy, or what about
Well, an FF is around 80, 100, 110.
the FF?
80 was unusual. I saw one for 80, but that was a little unusual.
That
But like
seems-
110.
That seems
100
right for an FF. And an FF is quite. That's a whole other conversation about the FF, and I wouldn't mind going there. I do think it's an amazing car.
More
It is
expensive.
amazing.
More expensive to have than a 599.
There's a situation with the all-wheel drive system that you have to. There's a place that will repair them or rebuild the. I forget what it calls. It's not the control unit, but it's the actuator unit.
Yeah.
And so once you take care of that problem, then it becomes a just as reliable. Except for now you have all-wheel drive.
Right.
Now we're talking, and what a spectacular car with dual clutch transmission. It's quite a special car. It's not the prettiest, and so that's where
It gets hit. Yeah, it takes a toll on it.
it's
It's acquired taste.
got a
in way.
big butt. It's got a big butt, and
It's not necessarily a sexy butt.
it's not necessarily sexy, but it wasn't. It looks like it was a different person designed the butt than the rest of the body. That's for sure.
Yeah.
However, it is
F12
quite a
front,
car.
but
It's
not
quite an
F12 rear.
exceptional car, and if you can just have an excuse of that, you just need a wagon. You need a hatch.
Well, then maybe that's why, again, going back to the 599, maybe it's competing with the FF. And if the FF's 110, 120, how do you justify a 599 to be a lot more? I don't know. Just in terms of
I do
performance.
think the 599. You never know because I don't think they made that many FFs, so you never know. The FF could be $1 million car. You never know how the tides can turn. However, the 599 is a sexier car, and it's like I said, it has that real modern Aston Martin James Bond vibe to it, while also having enough power that you're like, it's an absolute savage. So another thing I want to talk about is how the car drives, is how small the car feels.
The 599.
599. So when you start driving the car, like the steering is quick. I don't know what magic magicianry they did, but it's like it really steers in quite quick. So it shrinks the car. You look at it and go, oh, okay, this is a big GT Tour. And when you get in it, like the front end shrinks. It's a huge front end on that car. It is probably 1.5 feet longer than you think it is.
It does look huge. It does look long.
Right,
Like
when
when you say James Bond, I think Aston Martin, long
Yes,
hood.
exactly.
Yeah.
And when you're parking the car, beware because you will hit things because you're closer than you think.
Because you have those sides that kind of stick out a little more on the bumper. Kind of like it's a
You don't see
front.
it, yeah. It just looks like it's a way closer front end than it is, and it looks like a bigger car. When you're in it, it shrinks. Everything shrinks. The car becomes tiny. It becomes quick. It becomes agile. And that's another thing that you don't think before you drive that car until you get in it. And you're like, I can do anything.
So it must be a Canyon king.
I mean, I would think so. Of course, I think in a tighter Canyon, of course, something like a Lotus or a car that's just tinier is going to smash on it. But like anything
too much power, you need
too much power. But anything with long sweepers, I think
Crest.
with Crest, I think that car is going to just murder.
Wow.
And, just be careful, right? But keep that traction control on.
Would you say being rear-wheel drive and it's similar, it's not quite the Aventador, but being rear-wheel drive is a little more exciting than the all-wheel drive of the Aventador? Like if you were to take two, is there something more exciting about the 599 or not?
It's more exciting in that like a girl who's dangerous or could kill you is more exciting. Yes, it is.
That's what I like.
Yeah. So like now the Aventador is deceiving because it has so much grip from that like 0 to 100 that you will go over 100 and then find out where grip leaves you and then you're dead, right? Or then you're
too much confidence.
Right. So this car is not going to make you feel like you definitely know that you're just gadgetry and traction control away from all out death. It's like
got to pay attention.
You got to pay attention. If you're going to put it in race mode, it's going to loosen up on you, and it's cool because you'll see the car get crazy. It's going to make you think you're the best driver ever, but it's also going to give you enough leeway to know this car is losing grip. And so I think in that case, maybe it's safer because it gives you sooner warnings in it than a mid-engine car, than an all-wheel drive mid-engine car, because that kind of deal is like, an Aventador is, I would say it's a whole different feeling. Like this car, like I said, you have to get it right to get it to hook up, to get that sensation of acceleration. You would need the best tires you can get. If you can get Cup 2s on there, you're going to feel
Long
that
roads,
difference.
Cup 2s, you're going to feel
Then you're going to like, oh my God, this car's fast.
Yeah.
But if you have, like I said, cold tires, or you're in a dirty road or gravel or what have you, the car will just
not hook up.
It's not going to hook up. It's just, and you're going to be like, oh, it doesn't.
Well, let's go back to the F1 real quick, just because in hindsight thinking, a friend of mine had one, and he would, talk trash or just say, it's a crappy transmission. F1 sucks. It's junk. Is it clunky? Is that why? He has an F12 now, but is it clunky? Is it a bang?
It is not.
What does that mean? Not smooth?
It,
what could be bad about it to
it's not,
someone that has a lot of cars?
Right. It's not as good as a dual clutch. So like that smoothness of off the line, because the dual clutch feels like an automatic transmission off the line. It's just you let go of the brake, start touching the gas, the car just moves, and it has that feeling, that watery torque converter kind of feeling. This car definitely has a clutch is engaging and then you're moving forward. That being said, also I don't know what he was driving, because you got to program the clutch. You got to get your adjustment correctly. You got to get your the PIS setting. When you get that right, it feels great, and the V12 can really pull the car from a low RPM, so you can get a real positive engagement right off the line. That I got to tell you, you're not missing it. I'm not thinking I wish this car had a dual clutch. You're never thinking that.
So there is a variation that can come from the mechanic of how it's adjusted, even from the factory?
Yeah, I don't know about from the factory, but say you wore down your clutch and didn't readjust it, then you might get a feeling that's a little bit sloppy.
I see. So halfway through the life of the clutch, somebody jumps in it or buys it with a used clutch. They're judging it based on that, maybe it wasn't adjusted. We don't know. We don't know how the car's been abused, for sure. Like that, the condition of the clutch is going to make a difference in how the car feels. So if you buy a used 599 with 20,000 miles, probably should take it in and double check the adjustment of the clutch just to know you're getting the
I always would. It's so second nature to me that the second I move a car in from the parking lot, I know what's going on. Like I could just feel it where.
Right, but I wouldn't.
Yeah, you wouldn't know if you would know.
You just brought that up, and I'm like, oh, I'll buy a 599. I would not think, let me call Damian and get this checked out just to make sure.
Yeah, I understand most people don't know. Most people don't know in 430s and 360s that like.
Same way.
Same exact thing, where it's like, I've extended clutch lives thousands and thousands of miles just because I'm like, look, man, your clutch is loose. And therefore it's slipping more to engage, and therefore you're just going to burn this thing out.
Right.
So I'll always tighten it up if I see it. I'll always like try to tell a customer if they want, I can't help it. it's a sin if I see it slipping like that. So but to be fair with 599s, most of them are pretty dialed, man. They feel good. They really engage super, super nice. There's a little bit of clunkiness that you're going to get with any, actuated, controlled manual transmission.
Yeah.
There's going to be somewhat of a little bit of a separation from like that, the perfection that a dual clutch might seem like. However, like I said, the dual clutch has its drawbacks too, because that single disc clutch, man, it slams hard. When you're on the gas and you're going through the gears, it's like.
What about when you're just putting? Is it clunky and comfortable?
No, I don't think so. I think that was one of their better iterations, man.
Better than LP640E gear?
Yeah.
Okay. You said that very easily and fast.
Yeah. The only car I would compare that to is the 430 Scud.
Which is aggressive.
But fantastic.
So the 599 is aggressive, but fantastic.
It's a little.
Does it feel like the 430 Scud?
It's close. It doesn't feel like it. Like the 430 Scud feels like a.
Does the Foriano package change that, or that's just handling and brake, or whatever?
I think it's just handling. I can't say that I noticed with the shifting.
Okay.
But like the 430 Scud really feels like a scalpel. Like the way it shifts is so precise and so viciously fast. I feel like it might be a little more raw than the 599, but the 599 feels like it does it, man. If it's slower, it's not by much. And it's more refined overall. So it's great. And I think that has a lot to do with however they're utilizing the torque of the V12, and so they can really engage the clutch at a lower RPM. So it's really well done. I don't know how they did the 430 Scud. I would love to know. Those guys deserve a high five and a bonus and an extra beer.
I love that car. I got to drive one. So just to close and wrap this up, seems like 599 is definitely one of the cars you got to have at some point in your life. As a naturally aspirated, fairly analog feeling V12, the last V12s. It's modern enough to give you that bang, bang, bang. You don't have to work for the power. But yet you still are driving. You're not.
I really feel like the best way to describe it is you are like Daniel Craig in a suit. It is a muscle-bound Italian muscle car. This is dressed in a beautiful Italian suit.
I love that.
It's like low-key, and yet don't mess with this.
I love that.
So I love it, man. I love the 599. So
well, thanks, Damian. This is awesome. 599 sounds like I got to taste that car.
I would say you must.
Yeah.
It's a must.
Somebody traded me the keys for a day. All right. Thank you, Damian.
Yep. Thank you, Paul.